Bum 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 bum. Hey, Star Wars fans! It's your friend Dominic Tringali here with issue number 19 of the Star Wars Build a Millennium Falcon model kit. Going to go ahead and put together a one-for-one replica of the movie model from the Empire Strikes Back film. Like I said, one-for-one exact replica of the model that they had for the filming. $10.99 every issue past the first one. The first one was €3.50. So that brings the grand total of this venture up to €201.32. That's right, we've gone over €200 already, and we're not even a fifth of the way there. So we have this weird, what color would you call that? We're always bad with colors. I don't know. Fuchsia? I don't know. Purple? Let's just call it purple, right? So this was actually a pretty cool issue. I mean, like, first of all, look, we got this. Let me pull the focus. We got this gangster ass photo of Chewbacca with a oxygen mask on it. You know, I always thought Chewbacca was like the most gangster ass dude in the entire Star Wars franchise. I'm really happy. I'm gonna have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure he is going to be in the most movies of all, make the most appearances of all the Star Wars characters. I might be wrong about that. It might be R2-D2 actually. Now that I think about it, he's been in everything. But I mean, non-droid. Okay, let's say it that way. Anyway, so let's just jump right into this sucker and see what we got. So, kind of skipped. Can't forget the table of contents. You know. Just customer information, stuff like that. But anyway, we have this this readout about the Cohen-Sayer, I hope I said that right, Cohen-Sayer BTL bi-wing fighter bomber, the forerunner of the Y-wing. I'm wholeheartedly going to admit I've never watched the Clone Wars animated series. I know I have some friends who watched it. Is it still going? I'm not even 100% sure about that. I know it kind of filled in a lot of the gaps of between episode 2 and episode 3, and explains who the hell General Grievous is and all that stuff. So anyway, this was a forerunner of the Y-wing, and obviously has this Y-shaped configuration. It was very pivotal for some sort of battle against Grievous's ship, the Malevolence, which had a feared ion cannon during the Clone Wars. I don't know what the hell. Ion cannons, I believe, they don't really shoot damaging lasers. They shoot some sort of ionizing laser that disables electronics, kind of makes your ship float dead in space. Anyway, what do we got here? Cohen-Sayer Manufacturing, Starfighter Bomber, 23.4 meters long. That's pretty long ship. It's about 2/3 the length of the Millennium Falcon. Let's see, speed 100 MGLTs. I don't know what the hell that means. Maximum speed 1,000 kilometers per hour. Medium lasers paired. 6 proton torpedoes. Proton bombs. Chempat deflector shield, you know. And I always thought that, it's so it's the force fields. They don't really have force fields so much. I mean, they have ray shields in the Star Wars universe, but they have these deflector shields, which I guess deflect lasers, which I guess that's cool. Anyway, then you have this shot of one of the clone starfighter pilots. It must have been really confusing hanging out with those dudes, all of them looking the same. Then you had Commander Cody and whatnot. But obviously they had an astromech facility where you had an astromech on board to help control a lot of the features. I like this article because it talks about this bubble turret. If I turn to the previous tape, had this this World War II bubble turret rear facing, and how the gunners were essentially in this position where they never even knew that the danger that the pilot was flying into. They just got this like rear view of everything. Anyway, article about the attack on the Malevolence, Battle of Kalita Shoals Med Center. I don't know what the hell that means. Maybe I really should check out the Clone Wars series. If anyone, I mean, if I would really love some feedback. If anyone's ever watched the Clone Wars series and can tell me it's worth a watch. I mean, it looked like a kid's show, but maybe it's there's a lot of cartoon shows that aren't really necessarily geared towards kids. They're geared towards adults. So maybe this is one of them. Section about clone pilots. So this is where they talk about the actual Y-wing. There was only 3 Y-wing models for the first filming. They actually had to blow them up, but they would blow off this engine port right here, and then they would have replacements, and they had to kind of glue it back together to film again, because they had to make it look like they had far more than 3 of them, obviously, for the film. Kind of interesting. Now this article, this is the Guide to the Galaxy article on Geonosis. Okay, so we got Geonosis, which has a rotation period of 30 standard hours, 265 local day orbiting period, has apparently 4 moons, orbital position 2, 43,000 light years from the core, Arcanus sector, outer rim territories, Geonosis. So I always liked, so obviously surrounded by an asteroid belt, which apparently the Geonosians use to pull in asteroids and use for material for construction. They were a race of people that were rather technically advanced, despite their outwardly simplistic views. But the whole race, the Geonosians, they're like carpenter ants. They're clearly like carpenter ants. They have a hive structure. There's apparently a queen that we never actually meet. She's the leader of the Geonosian people, but they have this de facto face of the people, which is this guy by the name of Archduke Poggle the Lesser, who killed the Geonosian ruler Haddis the Vaulted and took over the planet, pledging its resources to Count Dooku of the CIS. He was a member of the Techno Union. He controlled the vast droid factories set up on the planet, but he gradually outdrew his usefulness to the Sith, who instigated the conflict and was killed by Darth Vader on Mustafar at the end of the Clone Wars. So they have a policy of, you can kill the leader and become the leader. So I guess, does that mean that Darth Vader is technically on top of everything? He was, a leader of the Geonosian people? Kind of weird to think about. But the queen, she lives underground and lays eggs, and apparently has a bunch of blind drones who handle her needs or day-to-day needs. But we never see the queen, so we don't know what she really looks like. But if she's anything like these carpenter ants, she'll look just like a bigger version of them. But I don't know, because Archduke Poggle the Lesser, he definitely looks different than your average Geonosian. He has that beard and whatnot, and kind of a crest, and that looks like it's natural. It doesn't look like, he was kind of born to rule. I guess he was part of the aristocratic society, and they build these spires of crap from apparently dust and excrement from parasites. So they have these giant carpenter ant mounds. That was pretty cool. And talking about the Industrial Light and Magic people, how they built it with walnuts, and then in post they used walnut shell and sand, and then used post production. They made it more red. I don't know. So the Geonosians, I guess they actually were the ones who helped design the Death Star, as we can see in the episode 2. So they must have been pretty technologically advanced, like I said, despite their outward appearance of being rather simplistic. But, they're a race of people who are mindless drones, worker drones, and they just kind of just do whatever they're told. So, it kind of works out for that. It's kind of sad, really, when you think about it. I don't know. People have accused Star Wars of being like overtly racist, but you know, I don't know about that. If you want to call these guys like the Chinese or whatnot, I mean, I'm just throwing that out there, but it's like they definitely have very, you know, Chinese stereotypical ways of looking at it. And then this Secrets of Spaceflight article, you have secrets of the Starship Millennium Falcon's emergency features. Okay, you know, you got number of fire extinguishers. Of course, we know that R2-D2 was equipped with a fire extinguisher, so you got that going for you. These Romer 6 breather masks that they wear inside. Here's that gangster-ass photo of Chewbacca again. They wear these masks like to go outside the Millennium Falcon when they were inside the asteroid, and they say it like helps them avoid the vacuum or the near vacuum of the inside of the space slug's gullet. Like I'm not a scientist or anything, but I'm pretty sure that you can't just like roll out of a spaceship wearing what they were wearing. Like, you know, I don't think this is gonna work. Like I mean, I don't remember a piece of dialogue where they say like, oh, it's got like a little bit of an atmosphere, so we'll be okay. You know, we just gotta wear these masks. They just kind of like just roll out of the spaceship and are just chilling with these masks on. Like that's supposed to be enough for them. I'm pretty sure like you die like soon as you open up your ship to the you know, vacuum of space. I'm pretty sure you're dead. Like your blood boils. And if I remember, I was paying attention in class. I mean, I'm not a scientist. I don't know. And then they have a section about first aid med packs. So like, obviously, Chewbacca and Han Solo got into a number of scraps in their past, and so they had to convert one of the bunks of the Millennium Falcon into like a med facility, because I guess the Millennium Falcon didn't have one. But they got a number of like medical doohickeys or whatnot. They got this medical access panel with vials, hypo sprays. It says here, let's see here, it's the GLIS, the GLIS emergency med pack treats burns, contusions, and traumatic injuries, but just in case that was not enough, Solo and Chewbacca installed a supply of military-grade biotech fast flesh med packs as backups. These included advanced synth nutrient replicators, body chemistry boosters, laser cauterizers, nerve regenerators, tissue generators, and a sonic scalpel. Dude, they didn't have like any doctors on board. They didn't have like a med droid or anything, but like they seriously seem like they could handle themselves. Like, you know, if they had a card game go really bad, they could just duck out on the Falcon and probably be okay. I don't know. So it's pretty important that they had this because, you know, of course, Luke Skywalker gets his hand chopped off in Cloud City and they rescue his ass. And anyway, so they obviously they modeled the emergency breather after like some sort of EMS adult non-rebreather mask used by medical emergencies where patients able to breathe unassisted, you know, blah 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 blah. So they just kind of made a prop like this. That's a picture of the prop, and it worked out pretty well. Looked cool and realistic-ish. So anyway, then we jump right into this green section, this familiar green section, where they just talk about the instructions of everything we're going to do for the day. So let's take a look here. We got bag number 19. So let me bust this open and see what I find inside. Okay, so like always, just go from big to little, from large to small. So we have this piece right here, who it's clearly going to be another one of those pieces for the ring corridor. And this is going to actually attach to that piece of ring corridor we've already completed, which leads off from the main hold into the actual cockpit. So we'll have that going for us. Even though it's not the second biggest, this piece obviously is going to go like that. Somehow I'm going to have to use these little screws right here to get that done. This piece right here is actually pretty interesting. I was looking at the instructions. This is going to be a recessed detail in the exterior of the Millennium Falcon, and these pieces right here go with that. And this bag is a number of parts that'll go inside of this thing. So I'll be putting that together, and eventually I'll be adding that as an recessed detail to the outer hole, the lower hole, to make it look like, you know, the actual model. Really kind of cool. I mean, I'm gonna try to pull in some of this detail because this is, I mean, this thing is big. I mean, it's pretty big. It's about the size. Like, I mean, I have big hands. Like, I wear large gloves. So, and it's like 2/3 of the length of my palm. Let me try to pull in these details here. You can see like how detailed this thing is, and these parts right here. That's gonna be pretty detailed. I guess I should expect that much from this kit so far, and screws goes with that. And we got a third ring corridor piece, another 2 from last time that I didn't put together, so I have my work cut out for me today. I'll be putting 3 of these things together for this particular issue. So let me go ahead and just start that process, get those assembled, and we'll go from there. Well, the instructions actually want me to put this thing together first, but I went through the instructions and looked at everything. But they actually they give you some tips on how to spray this to make it make your final product look like this. So to go from this to this. But you know what? I don't have any matte spray paint right now, so I'm actually going to hold back on this because this is not going to be important to finish today. I'm going to actually save this for now, and I'm going to do this at a later date when I get that matte paint, because I need to get a black, a gray, and a lighter gray. So I'm going to get 3 cans of matte spray. And I mean, it's a good investment. I'm not just buying it just for this single piece, because I'll be doing this more than once, I imagine. So it's just, at this point, it's just something I'm going to have to get if I want to make the model kit look cool. But I will pose this question right now, and I've been thinking about this. Do I want to spray all the pieces and then do the 3 coats, the black, the gray, the lighter gray, and then glue everything into place and get kind of this even thing going on? Or do I want to like glue everything in place and then spray it? And I mean, that's what they did with their instructions, but I don't know. It just seems to me like I'll get a more even coating. Like I've had models before where paint doesn't even get down to some parts, and if you under close investigation, you can realize that it's just the surface areas are painted. I don't know. So I'll think about that for a while, and throw a comment down below with your thoughts of what you think that should look like. If I should glue first, then paint, or paint and then glue. I guess if I glue first and then paint, I can hide any glue spots where I put too much glue on, but that doesn't really happen to me too often anymore. It's kind of a rookie mistake with painting. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, like I said, assemble these. You've seen me do these before, but I'll get them all cut out and show you what I do with them in case you missed those previous episodes. And I'll let you guys see what it looks like. Okay. Alright, so I've taken one of these sprues and I've cut out all 18 of these pads, and I'll just glue them one by one. Each one, there's a little groove. I'll put a drop of glue in each one, and then I'll be attaching them to the inner ring here. And I'll show you what it looks like when I'm all done. All said and done, it should look like this. Be careful when you're cutting these out and trying to glue them on. I had one slip out of my hand and fell on the floor, and I had a hell of a time finding the son of a bitch. So be really careful, because the last thing you want to do is lose any of these, because you're just going to have to fabricate something to replace them, or just have a missing piece and try to hide it somewhere in your damn model. So just be careful with them, alright guys? So my head's up on that. So now I'm going to repeat the process with these 2, and then I'll show you what those look like when I'm all finished. All said and done, this is what your final product should look like, these 3 rings. I mean, obviously they come apart, but this is what it should look like. And God, that takes so long, and I'm sure I'm not done doing these things. So that's pretty much the highlight of that step. Alright, the next thing is I'm going to do is I'm going to set this thing together and attach those rings to it, and then I should be pretty much done for this issue. So I took the 6 gold screws that came in this issue, and I assembled this floor piece to this floor piece, the floor piece to the rounded bottom half. And the next step is to just put in these ring corridors, and then I'll be done for the day. So let me do that, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I have these 2 rings already in place, and each one goes into this little slot right here. There's I think I might eventually glue these into place because they don't stay in place very well, and they're kind of tricky to get into place. So maybe it's for added stability, I will actually glue them in later, but for right now I'm just going to leave them loose as is, and hopefully they should firm up when I get the other half into place. Alright, so not a lot of progress overall for today. I got this piece done, but it's not a major component. Like I said, I will glue and paint, or paint and glue this recess piece at a later date. With issue 20, I'll be getting the second piece of the jig, 2 of 4, that I know I'll be getting, and a number of pieces that will go onto this corridor, even some lower hole. So it should, not be very much going on in the issue 20 either. I think they were kind of lulling a bit with these issues, but hopefully it'll pick up, and in the end we'll have a product that just is worth the wait. So I couldn't really think of any good questions for the day. I guess if you could give me some wild speculation as to what to expect with this Rogue One movie that's coming out this year, because I guess that's the next film we're going to be seeing. I'm really highly anticipating it, so I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are, and see if you guys think it's going to be a flop, or if it's going, kind of like or not so much a flop, but like poorly received, kind of like the prequel films, or do you think it's going to be well received and well loved? I really have high anticipations for it. So I guess that's my quick question for the day. What do you think about the new Rogue One film based on the trailers we've seen so far? Guys, if you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and clickety-clack that subscribe button. Go ahead and push that like button. Leave your comments down below. And like always, guys, may the Force be with you.